potential captain leaving the club. If I'm not mistaken, he is your captain, right? Morgan Gibbs-White.
Vice captain. Yates is technically the club captain, but yeah, Gibbs-White. Yates doesn't play every game, so Gibbs-White's usually the captain. What's going on with it? Spurs illegally approached him, and Forest told them basically do one until you want to legally approach it. And by the way, we may serve you some papers. So yeah, Spurs doing what Spurs do, being scummy and nasty.
So is he staying 100%?
Not 100%. No, he said he would stay, but he also said he would go. Like figure that one out, man. At the moment, Spurs have because of their illegal approach. Forest has said, piss off. And that's where we are. Now, apparently, Gibbs-White is coming out saying that he wants it resolved by Monday because Forest are off to Portugal on Monday. He wants to know, is he staying or is he going? So I think there might be some movement across this over the weekend. There's talks that Levy is thinking about a £65 million bid. Just for the question really is why? Because if they are adamant they've done nothing wrong, why are they looking to add to the 60 million release clause? So I think that in itself is quite fishy. Do I think he goes or stays? I don't really care, bro, is my honest answer. If he goes, we can replace him with better. If he stays, he can be accommodated, rotation or whatever, man. He's not our best player, whatever Spurs fans tell you about him. Not even close.
Who's your best player? I'd
say Milenkovic, Murillo. I'd say our keeper Sells has been outstanding. They getting ahead. Chris Wood for us last season was phenomenal, 20 goals. Alanga was extremely important as well. And then I put Gibbs-White at about 5th. So that's what I would say. Obviously, a lot of Spurs fans will say differently because they just watch highlight reels. And I think you boys can relate. When people talk about Bruno Fernandes, they haven't watched the Man U game, but on the Match of the Day highlights, his goal will show up.
Oh, yeah, he looks like he's cooking.
His assist will show up. Yeah, and they're like, what a baller. It's the same thing with Gibbs-White. I'd say Bruno's actually better than Gibbs-White. Same thing with Gibbs-White. If you watch the 5 minutes of brilliance, and it is brilliance, you're not seeing the 85 minutes of frustration where he's trying to ping a 35-yard crossfield pass with the outside of his boot, Travella style, thinking he's playing FIFA. And where he's shooting and sending it into the stands, man. So I'm not bothered if he goes. And by the way, the Spurs fans that think this is copium, go check out my videos from 3 months ago. I said City, I'll drive them up for you. So yeah, so I don't know what happens. Jay's gonna come on here and tell me why he's the next freaking Zidane, and he's gonna be chatting shit.
Bro. Morgan Gibbs-White is probably your best player of the last 20 years. Probably
in the last 20 years.
Idea what the hell you're talking about right now? Literally,
Jay, how many
full 90 minutes? The best player you've seen in 20 years, because 15 of them were spent in the damn championship. So what are we doing here? What are we actually doing here? I have no idea what you're talking about. You're doing that thing that small clubs do when they know they've got a player too big for them. Yeah, Southampton did it with Van Dijk, Palace did it with Elise, and you're doing it with Morgan Gibbs-White.
I hear you talking from experience of Kane. I get that, bro.
Just appreciate what he's done for you, and stop being the bitter ex when he wants to move on to bigger and better things. This is the best Forest are going to be for the next 5 years, 10 years, whatever. This is the best, and he don't want no part of it. He saw you guys finish in a Europa Conference League Europa space, and he says, nah.
What the hell?
Fucking hell, someone finally shut him up, thank God.
Yeah, you still there?
Stop it, bro, stop it. Please stop it. Have some respect for yourself and your club.
Has he stopped?
Yeah, you went on mute.
Stop it.
So again, there you go. There's someone who watches Match of the Day and doesn't watch football. Exhibit A for you right there. He is not the best player we've had in the last 10, 15, 20 years, whatever arbitrary number Jay wants to put on him. And again, find me where I was saying don't sell him when Man City were in for him. Find me where I wasn't frustrated with him during the season. I would say he had a handful of outstanding 0 to 90 games last season. I'd say the Brighton game where we beat them 7-0 was him on absolute form. He was phenomenal there. And again, the Spurs fans don't listen. I'm not saying he's a scrub, right? I'm saying he ain't the Zidane they're trying to build him up to be. In fact, I go a step further and say he would actually ball out more if they drop him from a 10 to an 8, because he can't shoot. His shooting is woeful.
So, Wolfie, the thing is that, like, you need to understand the players that you're going to have now moving forward this season are going to be a drop down in level from Gibbs-White and Elanga. Yeah, that's what you're getting this season. So however you want to dress up this player's performance, he was one of the best players in your team in the best season you've ever had in the Premier League. Yeah?
Well, that's a lie for a start.
Okay, so I'm sorry. When Brian Roy and Hoydon were playing for you, maybe you finished higher.
I was going to say, you're going to throw
look at Jay. Jay's got the knowledge. Jay's got the knowledge.
No one remembers.
I remember Brian Roy. Brian Roy.
I remember Brian Roy. I remember Van Hooydonk. I have no idea where Forest finished 30 years ago. Like, I don't remember. I'll Wikipedia in a second.
I can tell you,
just didn't care enough to do it right now.
I can tell you, we finished third.
However you want to dress it up, yeah? No, however you want to dress it up, Spurs are a top 15, top 20 European club in the world. They're the current Europa League champions. And you're talking like
Jay, where did you finish last season, Jay?
Bro, it doesn't.
Hey, where did you finish last season?
If you want to do league position prop, because that's the first time you've been relevant. Bro, in 13 of the last 15 seasons, Spurs haven't even finished outside the top 6.
Hey, where did you finish last season? Where did you finish? Because if we did a history thing, I'll just point out my 2 stars, bro. So but let's look at the most recent season.
Last season, Forest were better than Tottenham in the league. I can admit that. There's no I have no issue. The reason why players like Elanga and Morgan Gibbs-White don't want to stay with you is because they know it was a one-off. Yeah, and they know Spurs' position was a one-off. That's why these players want to go to Spurs, because they know that in the greatest time that you've ever had, you won't repeat it.
More lies.
Looking at your tactics, you think the way Forest overachieved their XG, overachieved their points, phenomenal. Well done. You ain't going to do it again. And that. Murillo would wanted to bid an appropriate amount for him. So what you need to do right now is you need to really, truly understand who the hell your club is. Yeah, you ain't a top club. You're not even a top 10 club. Yeah, there's a lot of clubs who would say you're not even a top 15 club. So the audacity.
There's a lot of clubs that would say you're just a top 17 club, bro.
When a Champions League club comes calling for your players, they are leaving. When Newcastle called you for Elanga, he left. When Tottenham called you for Morgan Gibbs-White, he wants to leave.
Have you got him? Have you got him, Jay?
And your space in a pecking order. You are food
Jay,
for the bigger club. That is what you are. You are food, and we are hungry.
Breathe. Right, Jay. Let's be real. You're 17th in the league. Unless you're going to tell me 100% of the fault was on Postecoglou last season, are you going to tell me that?
Don't get excited, bro. When you sack Nuno this season, you're gonna appoint Ange. So don't get excited.
So stop deflecting.
Excited, bro. You're gonna be
was finishing 17th 100% Postecoglou's fault?
Bro, listen, but
it's a simple question, bro.
Does it matter? What do you want to do? Season rebound from last season again? We've got a new manager since then. We've signed players since then. It is what it is. We've done. You
signed 4 players. You signed 4 players, correct?
Right. Maybe.
What do you mean maybe? It's either yes or no.
Maybe. I'm off the top of my head. Kudos, Tel, Sakai, somebody else that I can't remember right now. Maybe
the defender, innit? Danso.
Danso. Okay, sure. We signed 4 players.
So you signed 4 players. 2 of them were with you last season. One of them, the Spurs fans haven't even heard about. And another one, I think he's a good player, but looking at it objectively, and kudos, he had a stinker of a season last season.
So what's the point in trying to, bro?
Well, if you let me finish, bro, I'll get to my point. So, a lot is being, either you're telling me that it's 100% on Postecoglou that you finished 17th last year, or you have to accept that there is a responsibility on those players that maybe that squad wasn't good enough to be a top 6, top 7 team. Is that a far stretch? Yes, Postecoglou holds a lot of the smoke for last season. But is it a far stretch to say that that Spurs team of last year was not probably a top 7 squad the way they played out? Would you disagree or agree with that? Hello?
He's on mute. He's on mute.
He's on mute. Okay.
I don't even know what's going on at this point. The crux of the whole situation is there's a bunch of panelists that can't really add input because you guys are fighting and we don't want to interrupt. But on a real, majority of us believe that Morgan Gibbs-White's most likely going to leave Nottingham Forest and end up at Spurs. This whole situation is a technicality that got into an argument between the two clubs. And
It's not a technicality, bro. It's an illegality. That's the difference.
what was illegal about them bidding a price?
It's not- I mean,
You have to speak to the club when you do a release clause. You have to inform them that you're going to pay the release clause.
Do you remember what happened?
Not necessarily. In Spanish, in Spain, you don't have to speak to
No, but
nobody.
it happened with
Ask Joey about Elise. Ask Joey about Elise.
Yeah,
When we went in
Joey
for
will tell
Elise,
you.
right? Back, it was like about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
We tried it. We pretty much did the same thing Tottenham did. Like literally the same exact thing. And Palace fought us off from being able to bid on them at all. Like literally, like I would not be surprised if that's what ends up happening. Unless like the owner is just like willing to take a bid and like he's willing to rebuild.
Exactly.
Like I just
Now, you know the Sky Sports beef with the owner, they're making him out to be the bad guy in the situation. It has
Well, I
nothing to do with-
mean, bro, anybody who's from one of those types of countries that's not from England is gonna get that type of beef. It's just the plain and simple nature.
Thanks,
of it.
Joey. Did they do that to
It's
Parish
just the
last
plain-
year
it's
with Elise?
the
No,
simple
but
nature
the thing
of
is,
it, bro. Like,
but this illegal approach thing, it does happen. We all know it happens all the time.
No, it
right?
doesn't,
It's
bro.
not- it-
Well,
how-
sure,
how-
but
how many
you
times?
but-
No, but how many times do you hear clubs say, "Oh, they've agreed personal
But-
terms," but it hasn't been club to club hasn't been agreed.
the problem with that is
That's not
like,
the
a
illegal
lot of the
approach.
times the clubs are more
Literally
willing to
everything
let
Real
go.
The
Madrid
issue, the issue with this one
Forest isn't letting
is
go
the,
of
the,
the
que-
player.
but the question with this one is whether the release clause was disclosable or not, right? Was it a confidential release clause or was it something that could be shared? The thing is, it's very difficult.
That's what I don't
It's very
know.
difficult to
Obviously,
prove
it's
this.
non-disclosed, otherwise they wouldn't
It's-
have been able to even
No,
bring this.
Do you know
up.
why it's easy
Well,
to
no,
prove,
because, no,
Rex?
it's not. Nothing's obvious about it unless you read the
No,
contract.
Rax. Do you know why it's easy to prove? So the release clause wasn't 60,000,000. The release clause was like 60,132 pounds and 37 pence with a payment structure. I'm making that number up, but it wasn't
No,
a clean
I know,
one.
I know,
Yeah?
I get it, I get it. I get the principle.
Now,
I get
the
principle.
point here is, and there was a payment structure attached to it, like 30 mil up front, 20 in the second, whatever, right? The idiot that is Daniel Levy, to the penny, paid what the release clause was with the payment structure attached, right?
I mean, that's not. That's what you're supposed to do when it's a release clause. It's nothing
Bro,
that
listen,
Angel
bro.
Levy did wrong.
Exactly.
It's in the end. In the end, the Forest owner has the ability because you're right in these situations. You're right. These type of things happen all the fucking time. They happen all the time. But in this case, the owner did not want MGW to leave.
That's
Okay,
it, bro.
like he had the ability. He had the ability because within the contract they had that in the structure that he was like, nah, this ain't happening. And,
Disagree.
and he's
Well,
within his right. He's
No, listen,
within
it's
his
the same-
right.
If the
hold on.
wording is not watertight, that's when
Yeah.
it becomes tricky. Same thing with Suarez and Liverpool and Arsenal, right? The wording wasn't watertight, and therefore we decided, John Henry and FSG decided to dig their heels in, and we were like, we're not accepting this as a release clause.
Rex, it's not the same. It's what Joey's saying about Elise. It's about what the Elise thing is.
Hold on. There's a lot of speculation here. I want to be clear about a few things, yeah?
Go on,
Forest
Jay.
ain't done nothing. Yeah, they ain't reported us to anyone. They ain't done nothing. They're just stalling the deal. Forest are litigious. Yeah, they like going to court. That's what Forest like to do. This year alone, this year alone, Forest have 4 or 5 times they've complained. They've taken people to court. They've commissioned their lawyers.
When have Forest gone to court, bro? Please enlighten
What do you
me.
mean, bro? Like, I'm saying you're litigious. You like to threaten people with the law. You're litigious. Yeah, that's what you do as a
You're
football
talking about the
club.
Palace.
Yeah, bro, I know
Europa
you've
League
got
and all
some
that.
QC guy, some barrister who's high up in your football club. You love it. You love it as a football club. That's what small clubs do. They complain, they moan, they bitch. That's what Forest do. That's the club you are. You are a reflection of your owner. So please don't talk about what Tottenham did or Tottenham didn't do. You ain't reported us. You ain't done nothing. You're just stalling the deal because
So why haven't you got the player, bro? If you've done nothing
because
wrong,
you're
why haven't you got the
stalling
player?
the deal. You are stalling.
But if
the
you've
deal.
legally hit the release clause,
No, what do you mean
hold
legally?
on. If you've legally hit the release clause, what can Forest do?
Nothing. No, stop saying legally. You've proven nothing as a football club. You're just stalling the deal at this point. You haven't even reported us to the FA. Yeah. So why have you not reported us to the FA if we did something wrong? Huh?
I'm saying to you, why haven't you got the player if what you've done is legal?
Why has your football club not reported Tottenham to the FA if Tottenham have done something wrong?
Forest don't have to work on your time frames. They don't have to work on your time frames, bro.
They don't. I know you don't, but I'm saying you've not reported us. So you're talking like we've done something wrong. But at this moment in time, you've not even properly accused of us doing something wrong. You said,
okay,
have
you done something wrong?
Do you know what legal notice is? It's an intention. It's like, okay, we're saying we might sue you or we might take legal action against you.
Yeah.
Again,
I know what that is. Yeah.
At no point here have you actually put on paper that Spurs have done something definitively
Have you
wrong.
done something wrong in your opinion, Jay?
Me, in our opinion, I have absolutely no idea. I'd like to say no. Because at the end of the day, there's nothing that you have done as a football club at this point that dictates that we have. Why is the player going for a medical and all of a sudden he wasn't? So clearly we had some sort of
Did he go for a medical?
There was a medical booked, with Tottenham. So clearly we spoke to you. Clearly there was some sort of negotiation back and forth.
No.
That's actually not
Forest and Spurs have not spoken.
CJ,
what are you talking about? We spoke to Forest.
You don't actually have to speak to Spurs.
Forest gave us permission.
You don't get what the release clause does, bro.
Bro, listen. Forest gave us permission to book a medical and then rescinded permission.
Oh, where you get?
What do you mean? Wait, go look. Go look at anything.
The way it works, though, Jay, like because I have friends in this business. This is like I have friends in this sporting world.
Bro, that has nothing to. What has that got to do with this specific point?
Let me explain it to you just for a second. When it comes to a release clause, okay? When it comes to a release clause, you don't have to speak to the other team. You trigger it. You send them up. You send the payment. You send the invoice to the fucking other team. They accept the invoice, and then they accept what your fucking whatever date you have for the medical. It's not. It has nothing to do with communication. There could be zero communication, and you can get that deal done. Zero, zilch, no phone calls, nothing. Just write it up, and it's done. And with a release clause, it's totally different. That's why this whole thing it gets shady. That's where the whole thing gets shady. Is the release clause. Did you know about this release clause without speaking to Forest? And if you did, then you did this wrong. It's that simple. It really is that simple.
No.
You can say no all you want, bro. But that's
exactly.
I know what I'm talking about.
Because you're talking about something where it's not Tottenham. Who released the information? Tottenham are not under NDA.
Okay, but you're taking it wrong. I said if you did this,
why it's not
then
Tottenham. We're not under NDA. Who's under NDA? Not Tottenham.
Bro,
he didn't say you were.
The way that the release clause has to be disclosed.
Right. Listen, Joey, what you're doing right now is you're speculating a lot on the facts. The facts. Let's talk about the facts of the matter. What we know. No, Joey. Let's talk about what we know definitively. Let's talk about what we know definitively. Morgan Gibbs-White has a £60 million release clause. How that's paid, I don't know. The installments, all that, I don't know. But I know the figure. It exists. I know that Tottenham wanted to trigger that. I know Tottenham were in talks with Nottingham Forest, and Tottenham had a medical.
No.
And Tottenham had a medical booked for Morgan.
How do you know Spurs were in talks with Forest, Jay?
Because it was reported. Ornstein reported it. Romano reported it. Mike McGrath reported it. They all reported we were in talks with you and that it was progressing. That's what they all said.
They reported that you were triggering a 60 million release clause.
Go back and look. Everyone says we were in talks with Forest. Then a medical was booked. It was reported by everyone that we had a medical booked. And then at that point, Forest rescinded permission. Yeah, they said that we'd done something out of hand. Why at the beginning of it did Forest not say no? Because what happened at that moment is Forest thought, you know what? We can stall this. Maybe we can talk to the player. Maybe we can do this. Maybe we could do that. At the moment, You're then saying Spurs found out illegally. How do you know we just didn't say we value this player at 60 million?
Who said that? Who said that he's found out illegally?
I'm saying the burden of proof is on Nottingham Forest.
Okay, all right, let me ask you guys a quick question because this is going in circles. What do you think the final solution will be? Joey, Sheik, what do you guys think?
He signed
the
for
player will join
Spurs.
Tottenham eventually, I think.
Yeah,
I think
he'll
goes
sign
to
for
Tottenham
Spurs.
eventually. I think eventually, like, I think Marinakis is just playing this to get some more
Yeah,
money.
he wants to
That's
go.
my big
That's
thing.
another thing. It'd be a completely different situation if he didn't want to go. He wants to go.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I think
fair
he
enough.
wants the money. I just think he wants more money, and I don't.
I honestly believe both. I honestly believe both Wolfie and Jay could be talking about this for a good 2 hours. You should invite him on your show.
I think it's funny because Wolfie a few weeks ago was saying to me, who have Spurs signed? And I was like, your captain. We'll see.
Have you? I haven't seen the shirt lifted,
We'll see,
bro.
man. We'll see. You stick to
Jay,
buying
who's
random
Spurs
players.
signed since
You
we last
focus
spoke?
on signing random players from Brazil.
Jay.
We'll focus on signing your
When we last
captain.
spoke, you just signed Kudos. Who have you signed since then, bro?
Bro, Kudos is bigger than your whole FC. He genuinely is bigger than your whole FC. Like, Kudos alone is bigger than your whole FC.
So again, deflecting from the question.
All right, let's
Kudos is bigger than Nottingham Forest.
Kudos would look at your football club like Tim Weah and say,
Again, I love the deflection. I love the deflection because you came out here saying, yeah, when we say we're signing your captain. We spoke when you signed Kudos last time. Who have you signed since then?
Bro,
Who's
we
lifted the
nearly
shirt?
signed your captain if you were installing the deal. What are you doing?
So you haven't signed anyone. So the answer is you haven't signed anyone, yeah?
Okay, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please do hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so, and leave a comment down below what you thought of that video you just watched.